In 2012, he set up Ascent Foundation as a peer learning platform for entrepreneurs where they can learn from each other through exchange of insights, experiences, and ideas in a confidential environment. And this is why today we are going to listen to Mr. Mariwala's take on leadership strengths needed in these uncertain times. Over to you, Mr. Mariwala.
Okay. So thank you very much and good evening to all of you. I'm very, very happy to be associated with the ET Global Business Summit. And the big challenge for me is when you have so many webinars, how can you differentiate yourself in terms of what you're saying compared to what has been said by others in the last 3 months. So I'll start off by saying that the role of leadership is to add value to all the stakeholders and not just shareholders. It's a misconceived notion that the leadership only exists for shareholders, but a lot of research has been done on this subject where each stakeholder, whether it's your own employees or your customers or your associates or the society, you need to look at all the stakeholders because each of the stakeholders is interconnected to each other. And in a recent study done by Professor Raj Sisodia and Jagdish Sheth, they have proven that organizations which are looking at all the stakeholders have better financial performance. They do much better in the capital markets. So it's very important to look at all the stakeholders and not just shareholders. So now coming to how leaders should behave in this pandemic, in terms of background, I'm sure all of you will agree that this is one of the most stressful times for us. A lot of anxieties, a lot of uncertainties, and differing impact on different businesses. For us, I have 2 businesses. One is Marico, which is in consumer products, where we make products like Saffola and Parachute, which is doing well because these are essentials. And we are able to meet, many cases, we are not even able to meet the demand. As against that, we also have a chain of skin clinics under Kaya, and that's shut for last 3 months. So within the same group, we have 2 different businesses, one doing well and one not doing well because of the nature of the business. So how do you basically overcome this anxiety, stress? Because if it is not handled well, it can lead to depression and serious mental health issues. I'll go into each and every segment of the stakeholders. So in terms of employees, what can be done? I think the key thing is to give all the employees a big picture of what's happening in your business, in your company, in your sector, what the organization is going through, and how will the organization cope up with the challenge. So give them a genuine big picture. Don't give them a rosy picture just to make them feel good. But I think the key thing is give them an authentic picture. Give them a scenario which the organization may be looking at, the opportunities arising out of the pandemic, and keep them updated on a monthly basis. At a CEO level, the CEO should address all the employees once a month in terms of what's happening. In terms of CXOs, it may be better to do it on a weekly or a fortnightly basis to talk to their particular function. And each supervisor also should be talking to their teams at least once in 2 to 3 days. So I think this over communication is very, very important in these times. And to give a true and fair picture is very, very crucial. The second thing is many organizations may be undergoing a lot of stress, and some of them may have to take some hard stances in terms of salary cuts, in terms of closures. How do you handle that is a big challenge. I would suggest that it's better that we discuss this with our own middle level management and ask them to put themselves into your shoes. And if they can come up with solutions which could be jointly discussed, the ownership of this action will be much more at the top 2 to 3 levels. So I would say that you follow a middle top-down approach where the middle suggests top debates and dialogues and then arrives at some sort of steps to be taken, hard steps to be taken, which ultimately could be communicated down the line. The third thing is about the families of your own employees. These are times when kids are at home. There is a lot of stress at home also. So how do we keep them engaged is something which organizations should be doing. For example, having webinars on different subjects, learnings, yoga, general knowledge subjects for children, art classes, cooking classes, and again, create internal challenges by having competitions on each subject. And this is what will keep the families engaged and be connected with the organization. Also show them the right ways of exercising, different options of exercising like yoga or physio or whatever else. And also give them tips in terms of mental health, meditation, and immunity building exercises. The third thing I would like to say is about safety. It's very important that the organization go overboard on safety and hygiene. Some of the steps, in addition to what is being done by many organizations, is to have online doctor consultations, to buy a health insurance policy for all employees, to have a 24/7 help desk. So I think these are the kind of things which can be done by organizations in addition to ensuring the environment in office or factories is hygienic. The next point is to, in any crisis, there is a lot of unity. There is a we feeling that we'll take it as a challenge. And I have seen, at least in Marico, that it has led to an extraordinary behavior in terms of employees stretching themselves in doing things which I could never have imagined would happen in such a short time. So it's very important to recognize heroes who are doing stellar work, whether it's in factories, whether it's in office supply chain issues, who have stretched themselves. And it's very important to send a mail to all the organization members about all the heroes. And if you look at Marico's example, we have sent something like 150 mails in the last 3 months, recognizing all these heroes. It reinforces collaboration and it improves also boundarylessness. We also had launched a big competition within our own members when there was a lockdown. And we threw a challenge to all the employees to come up with unique solutions in the area of cost reduction, innovation, and working from home, and how should the organization do on all these three fronts. And we announced also attractive awards for this. Employees could form small teams and work in their own team and come up with solutions. And within a period of 1 month, we got something like 2,000 entries on these three areas, and they are being evaluated. I'm sure the organization will benefit a lot. And those employees who've done well will also get rewarded for the kind of suggestions they come up with. In terms of customers, it's very important to walk that extra mile, be in touch with them, offer them much more than what you've done in the past. For example, in our Kaya business, we have given free consultations to all our clients, and it had got very good traction. And that led us to looking at e-consultation as a new business model and starting a new business based on e-consultation. So we started off something with an open mind that we have to do something more for our members, but actually it is resulting into a newer opportunity. I think it's also very important to do insighting because the customer habits are likely to change. The expectations will differ. We need to get feedback from them in terms of your service levels. There will be a lot of ideas from customers in terms of newer things to do, new product opportunities. So it's very important to leverage customers' contacts and be close to them. In terms of associates, key associates, whatever one does for your own employees, you could do that for your key associates in terms of whether it's the safety issues, hygiene issues, even in some cases providing some soft loans at zero interest levels, could be ways to keep your associates engaged. So in short, in terms of dealing with these stakeholders, I would say that leaders have to develop a leadership style which is very authentic, which is open, based on trust, has to be fair, transparent. One has to show a lot of empathy in these times and caring, and finally collaborative. Now, coming to the business challenges, there are two ways of looking at this pandemic. One is the newer opportunities the pandemic is throwing up. The other is the threat which the pandemic is likely to encounter. So one need to look at trends. How do you nullify the threats and how do you encash on the opportunities? And in many cases, pandemic is just speeding up a trend that was already underway, but it is just accelerating that. Some of the trends which I can think of, which could be relevant to some of you. One is hearing a lot about China and disruption. It could be an opportunity to create a new business. It also could be a threat if you are buying a lot of raw materials from China. So one has to see the China situation and how it's impacting your business. The whole habit of e-habit, whether it's e-learning for children, e-commerce buying for housewives, e-consultations for going to doctors and getting medicines through prescription, virtual meetings as we are doing now, work from home, digital marketing is a new habit which all of us are learning. And the fact that we have been doing it for a few months, it means that we have mastered that habit. So it will actually become a trend. So I strongly believe that there will be lots of opportunities in e-learning, e-commerce, e-consultation, in holding virtual meetings and in digital marketing. So digital is the way forward, and organizations have to find out ways to improve their digital capabilities, whether it is whatever I talked about earlier, or analytics or artificial intelligence and so on. I strongly feel that this is also a right time to build talent, some gaps which you may identify to meet the future challenges. And that gap could be filled through acquiring talent at this time. I was told that in certain domains, the availability of talent is there because of a lot of layoffs. You could also look at acquiring companies to acquire talent. In terms of consumer habits, there will definitely be much more trust on health, on physical, mental, spiritual health. In terms of fitness, is doing exercises, yoga, gymnasiums, gym online, eating healthy food, weight control, immunity builders, vitamins, nutraceuticals. So these are all going to get a lot of trust in future. And in terms of hygiene, we are going to see more of sanitizers, wipes. In Marico, we've just launched a new product about a month back, which is we call Veggie Clean. It's a product to clean fruits and vegetables. And our team was able to do that within a period of 1 month. The product was conceived, developed, brand name and packaging, everything was done within 1 month. One could look at also sprays, food sanitizers and things like that. And in terms of environment, there'll be heightened sensitivity to issues like pollution, sustainability, anti-pollution products. So there will be newer opportunities going forward. So organizations will need to rework the business model and make choices. Some of the opportunities which may have been identified earlier may have to be defocused. Some newer opportunities may have to be given thrust to. And in case of Marico itself, we had thought that we will go premiumization in terms of skincare, male grooming. But after going through the pandemic, we changed our focus and we said that now can we give thrust to sanitizers, Veggie Clean, other essential products? Can we go more into healthy foods? So our full focus in terms of portfolio choice has changed over the last 3 months. And I think this is the right way. An organization will have to refocus their portfolio choices and business models going forward. If you have to give thrust to digital, you will have to man that digital team, which will be young in age because they understand digital much more than all of us, at least at my age. And I think you need to identify what will create big impact if you pursue a digital strategy. So in short, while dealing with business, what will be relevant will be that agility will be more important than perfection. How do you drive agility is a key challenge. One can have flat organization structure. The quality of talent also will play a very, very important role in empowering others. A culture of empowerment, autonomous small teams, and finally the role of top management driving change. When in a crisis, we have seen that if there are some serious supply chain issues, the top management has to step in. So the first 1 or 2 months of the crisis, the managing director and his immediate team was driving how to start factories, how to overcome supply chain challenges, and something which they would not have done, but in this case they had to step in. I think that was the right way to get forward. We've seen also organizations looking at quarterly budgets because it's impossible to plan future. One is not sure when this pandemic will start improving. when will we get vaccines? So it's very important to have quarterly budgets. In case of leveraging the board of the companies, many companies are having monthly board meetings because, again, it's important that board adds value to the organization in terms of the business model, portfolio choice, people issues. So more frequent board meetings. Boundaryless collaboration also is very, very important to ensure that people are working virtually but completely boundaryless. So in terms of leadership style, I would say when it comes to dealing with business issues, one has to be adaptive, one has to be flexible. I talked about agility. I talked about top management handling crisis personally, small teams driving change, thrust to digital, give much more thrust to prototyping, experimenting, remove the fear of failure so that innovation happens, and finally dealing with ambiguity and gray areas. Let me come to the final part of my talk is about the purpose. I think organizations need to have a purpose. In case of branded companies, brands also need to have a purpose. And the organization's purpose should look at all the stakeholders and not just shareholders. If you play the purpose well, it will really help the organization in terms of attracting talent, attracting customers, getting the best board, improving the image in the society. And these days, one hears a lot about environment, sustainability, governance, and all these issues are going to get, these trends are going to accelerate. One has seen that in the past also, good organizations which are giving thrust to environment, sustainability, and governance are commanding a premium in capital markets. They will command a premium in job markets, whether you go to a campus or whether you're recruiting talent. It will also improve your image in the society. In terms of giving something back to the society, I am a strong believer in active giving, which is just not giving a donation, but actively be involved in giving something back to the society. And we had started a COVID challenge for meeting the shortage of PPE equipment and ventilators. And we got something like 600 entries, and we just finalized the winners. These are all innovative players who have innovated scalable entries and also affordable. And I think we will start seeing the impact of what work they've done in meeting these challenges. I think in the introduction, I was told about my personal giving initiative, which is Ascent. And this is for entrepreneurs who want to learn from each other. And if any of you want to learn about this initiative, you can log into ascentfoundation.in. It's an initiative which I've undertaken to help entrepreneurs, and I believe that it is playing a very, very important role in meeting entrepreneurs' needs, especially in today's times. So to end, I would say when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Never waste a crisis. I have seen in Marico itself that this crisis has shown stellar performance in terms of our supply chain issues. It has led to extraordinary behavior. Our engagement levels, and we do it every week amongst all our employees. We get about 70% of our employees responding to this questionnaire. It covers 4 or 5 questions like whether Marico cares for me, am I inspired to do my best, what is my pride level in Marico, do I have access to learning? And we have got 1,400 responses, and consistently we are getting a score of 95% engagement levels, which is very, very heartening. So it's very important that you never waste a crisis. In a lighter vein, my board tells me that how do you create a crisis on a perpetual basis so that the organization moves much more quickly in a more agile manner and it delivers results which are stellar results. But that's in a lighter vein. We have to create some internal pressures to ensure that agility happens much, much more. I think ultimately I would say I think all of us have to be grateful for where we are. I always compare myself to what others have gone through in the country, the migrant labor, the bottom of the pyramid people, and considering what they are going through, we should be grateful. All I can say is this too will pass. It will be a different world. So be ready and be ready to succeed in this new world. The new world while managing the present crisis. Look at the positive side, nullify the threats, and cash on the opportunities. So with that, all the best to all of you. Thank you.
you, Mr. Mariwala, for your keynote address, for your inspiring words, for your wisdom too. Your address has prompted a couple of questions, and I would like to read out the first question that has been sent to us by our audience. How effective is giving cash to people instead of creating more job opportunities for them? How effective is this? People may consume this amount on their basic needs, but with more jobs, they'll be able to manage their livelihood. Your views on this, please.
I reckon this question is from the point of view of government of India, whether they should give cash or whether they should create opportunities.
Right.
I think in the short run, within a short run, meaning when there are job losses, it may be a little longer time it may take to create newer opportunities, newer jobs. In the short run, I think cash giving is okay because people have to survive. So the government has done things like giving grains and things like, which is also good. It at least helps them eat the food. I would look at short term as a way to give, but otherwise I don't want an easy solution by people getting free dose. It's very important that the economic growth is increased and opportunities increase and people are earning their money, and they will also feel far more better if they earn money. So in short, I would say that in the short term, you could look at giving some dose when the organization is under stress for 1 or 2 or 3 months. But long term, we have to look at improving the overall economic growth rate.
Thank you, sir. Just one final question before we take your leave. How do you see cross-corporate collaborations happening? Example, will Pidilite tie up with Byju's to take care of the education needs of the kids of cash-starved carpenters and masons?
So, very good idea, very good question. I think increasingly we'll see more and more collaborations occurring. I talked about our Kayab e-consultation. We're already collaborating with some other e-consultation players because you're bringing something to the table and it can be leveraged through somebody else. So I think it's very important to have collaborations. And not only that, but in taking up industry issues, I strongly believe that one should also be in touch with all your competitors. The key word is co-opetition. So work with your competition and address issues of whatever the industry is going through with the government, or how do you handle labor, or how do you handle your stress in the business. So I would say both collaborations with other players as well as interacting with your competitors is going to be very, very crucial in the new world.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mariwala. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you and all of you. Yeah.
Thank you.